can't do it. We'll do it live. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Mister, will you please wake up?
Buck back, third down on the 8. In trouble. Got a block behind him. Gonna throw on a run. Complete to the 25. To the 30. Lindsey's got 35, 40. Lindsey's got 45, 50. 45, 40. Run, Lindsey. 25, 20, 50. 10, 5. Lindsey stop. Lindsey stop. Lindsey stop.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
Oh, yeah.
It is 2nd and 7 from the Steelers' 14. Galvin the single set. Kirk play action. He's going to loop it. There's KJ. And there is a touchdown. 14-yard touchdown.
Melton to the left wing, Bain. Not a lot of movement. Gives to the foul line, Adams. Back to Bain. Bain to the right sideline, Jones. 3 on the way to answer. Ring it up. Put 3 on the board for Tyus Jones. 69-68.
First down, extra offensive lineman Blake Brandel back in, and a handoff goes to Galvin, and he is loose to the right side. 10-5, touchdown! A 29-yard scamper by Dalvin Cook, and the Minnesota Vikings have captured a 15-0 lead over these Steelers.
Bain to the left wing, Conchar. Over to Tillman. What a pass. Tillman to the rim. He lays it up and in. Oh, John Conchar with a brilliant feed to Xavier Tillman for an easy left-handed layup.
1st and 10, Kirk from under center, play action. He's going to shoot one to KJ. Left side. Caught. 15, 10. Touchdown! A 62-yard touchdown. Cousins to KJ Osborne.
Stolen by Melton. It was deflected by Jones. Melton to the left wing, Jackson. 3 on the way in rhythm. Ring it up. Put 3 on the board. When Jaron Jackson Jr. is in rhythm like that, he shoots it like a lights-out 2-guard. The 7-footer high steps to the sideline, and the Grizzlies fans are dancing in their seats at FedEx Forum.
Oh, yeah. We're going to be dancing all over the place today. Good morning, and welcome to the fabulous, fantastic football Friday edition of Snowman in the Morning. Happy to have y'all with us. It was kind of warm this morning when I took the dog out, and I'd like it to stay that way. But given the fact that I'm in the state of Indiana, that's not going to happen, and I know it's not going to happen. To a very special friend of mine, I haven't forgotten you. There's some more people I need to reach out to execute something that I said I would do for you. I don't want to reveal anything yet, but I haven't forgotten you. Just got to hear back from some folks. And speaking of folks, Cole Johnson is with me on this Friday edition of Snowman in the Morning. Good morning, sir. Great to have you.
Likewise. Good morning to you, sir.
The clips you heard are courtesy of ESPN 92.7 in Memphis and KFAN 100.3 in Minneapolis, the legendary Paul Allen, the voice of the Vikings. And the Vikings beat the Steelers 36-28. And before I go any further, this show is dedicated to the memory of one Demaryius Thomas, who,
yes,
as we found out late last night, passed away at the age of 33. I mean, he had a story and a half with the way he made his way to the league. We'll share a lot about him, not just on this show, but going forward. Stephen Askins, the first one in the chat, saying good morning to you. Now, I would touch on the Steelers game because it is a football Friday.
Of course.
But, as you have often told me, kind sir, the comedy writes itself when it comes to a certain athlete.
Oh, good Lord. It is never ending. Oh, my gosh.
I really didn't want to start with this, but given the fact that the Lakers had a mud hole stomped in their ass last night in Memphis, Tennessee, there was a post that I sent you a screenshot of you know who's last 5 games.
Oh, good Lord.
Why am I starting with this? Because I'm getting it. What did Martin Lawrence say in Bad Boys? Getting it out the way. Yeah, thank you, Stephen. They beat their asses without John Morant.
That's what makes that even better.
Yeah, it does. It makes that even better. Last 5 games for you-know-who, all 29, 30 points plus. And then the follow-up comment was, we would never see this again, or something. Let me find it, because I want to get it right. I specifically want to get this one right. And I know I sent it to you, because if I try to do it from memory, I'll mess it up. Mick Mixon at 12:05, Mike Debate at 12:35. Hopefully, Eric Wilson at 11:35. Hopefully, but we may not get him because he has been very, very ill, and he's been dealing with a lot of back pain. So, Eric, if we don't get you today, get well soon, my friend. Last 5 games for you-know-who: 39, 5-6, 37 and 11, 33, 5 and 9, 23, 11 and 6, 34 and 5. He turns 37 in a few weeks. We will never see this again.
Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, if we're talking about Stephen Curry, you're right. We won't ever see the likes of him again. No, we're not talking about him.
Unfortunately, no. So I jumped all over that and said, already saw it before, LeBum, several times. Find the lie.
Trying to at the moment. The silence means
You ain't
I
finding
haven't
it.
come up on one yet. Yeah.
You know, when you're speaking fact, they can only ridicule you in response.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure
Because,
you received this type of treatment even here.
listen, the guys told me to stay off the snow. He told me
How original.
He told me to stay off the snow. Really? I guess he's never seen black snow before, right? Before me.
Probably not.
I said, speaking fact, seen players before LeBron do what Bron is doing, and that's before LaFraud came along. So he said, so how many players you seen average 27, 6, and 7, and I'm reading this directly, in they 18th season?
Well,
in they 18th season. See, I had a full layout planned, and then this happened.
Well, to somewhat succinctly answer the question in the way it was asked, well, there ain't nobody whoever in their 18th season achieved that. I'm sorry, go ahead.
You know me so well. Okay, so I responded back, and he didn't like what I said. And
Oh no.
so I kind of brought up Wardell Stephen Curry II.
Oh Lord.
And
you basically gaslighted him.
oh yeah, I lit fire under his ass, in which he's yet to respond, because I said Stephen Curry has done more in 13 seasons than LeBron has done in 18. Whoops.
Well, if Steph wins his next championship in his next try in the finals, you will also be able to say to him, not only has Steph won as many chips in less years, but he did so in less tries.
Mm-hmm. That's with the 3-point shooting also.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Matter of fact, my other response was, so how many players have you seen average 27, 6, and 7? A few, actually, and Bron's stats are bloated anyway. Steph has done more in 13 seasons than Bron has done in 18. Close quote. Hell, if you really want to go there, Michael Jordan's did more in 13 seasons than Bron has done in 18. Somebody in their 18th season that not supposed to be doing this, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, with the unstoppable skyhook. I swear it writes itself. It writes itself. And folks, we don't try to write this. You can't put this in a Hollywood script and make it this good.
Yeah, okay, Bron Sexuals. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, he used to be called Lou Alcindor.
Mm-hmm.
He, the team that your king is on now, well, about almost 4 decades ago, the same team, this guy wore 33 in the purple and gold. And
oh yeah.
And in a finals in 1985,
yep,
he decided to wax the Celtics behinds, and he ended up becoming that series MVP. And how old was he when he won it? He was 38 years and 2 months old. Just because you see LeBron doing what he does now does not necessarily mean he's the only guy who has done it.
But that's what they make it seem like.
Yes.
They make it seem like he's the only person that has done this. That's
the problem I have with it. I mean, if Jordan had the capability of actually being himself when he was in a Wizards uniform, he probably would have done all this stuff at the age of 40.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But we ain't talking about that. Okay. I'm sorry.
People don't want to talk about it. People don't want to talk about it. Why? Because it's MJ. Simply put.
It is absolutely horrible for them to do the way they are and just focus on one guy and not do it within the totality of the framework of the National Basketball Association.
No, it's just him.
LeBron is not the only guy in the league today, and he's not the only guy that's ever existed in 75 years of the league's existence.
But as you saw, when they revealed the top 75, who was it all about?
Oh, of course, it was about him.
Trisha's in the comments, and she has the greatest comment. She says, it's too early to be starting stuff with us this morning. Dear, I haven't warmed up yet, and I didn't write this. Oh, I got another great comment. My friend Stephanie in the Transform You Media, she said when she listened to one of our earlier shows this week, and she writes, quote, "I now know what a bronsexual is. I am not one."
Thank you. We relish in the fact that you are not one.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. All right, let's get to this. Let's get to the layout, and it's presented by Williams Hardwood Services. Why couldn't Pittsburgh score a point in 3 quarters last night?
You know,
I follow up that question with a declarative statement.
Okay.
Ben Roethlisberger's arm is dead.
The following group of statements I'm about to say will hurt the manager of where I work because she's a huge Steelers fan.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a porous offensive line and a needle-arm quarterback, and along with it, a defense that can't stop a cold when it comes to the run.
There's a few defenses like that.
You are bound to have a team that will struggle to score because a team like the Steelers, they need to see inspiration from the defense to actually get something sparked.
Yeah.
Since they couldn't see anything of that ilk on the defensive end.
Nope, they couldn't.
On the offensive end, they were spinning their wheels, and it took them almost all game for it to actually get started.
Mm-hmm.
And
they did.
And by the way, you discovered that if you actually use the talents of Najee Harris, you actually could have good things happen. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but
you discovered it's too late.
They need a quarterback badly. And thank you, Stephen Askins, for this stat. Dalvin Cook gave him 205 yards.
He gave him the business. The whole
He
game.
gave them the business.
The whole entire game gave him the business. But
205 yards.
But to your point about Ben Roethlisberger. Now, I know fantasy footballs would be happy because he ended the game throwing for 308 yards and 3 touchdowns.
But how much of that came in the fourth quarter in the last 3 drives?
Oh gosh, if it had to have been half. Yeah, I'll probably even say more than half.
It had to be.
It
had to be.
The thing is, this guy's arm is so shot that even the two of us would have a better opportunity to run that offense of the Steelers better than he can. And I'm not trying to insult Ben.
No,
He
stayed too long.
Yes.
That's all we're saying. He has stayed too long.
I mean, the dude will blow the candles to his 40th birthday in 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not talking about a guy who had a clean pocket all the time. We're talking about a guy who game in, game out, year after year. He would probably take literally about 5 or 6 vicious shots a game.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
For anybody on any playing field.
And remember 2 years ago, he injured his elbow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He injured his elbow.
And obviously, 1, it looked like he did not have surgery for it, and 2, it looks like he's feeling the residual effects of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he injured his elbow 2 years ago, like right after the 49er game. Speaking of which, I've had so many people come at me saying it's over for the 49ers this year. Is it? No. It's not over for them.
Here, let me look at standings here. Okay. So, NFC standings as of week 13. If the season were to end today, the 49ers would be in the playoffs. And that's after they took the L in Seattle.
Mm-hmm. You know, and Nick Bosa said it best. We blew it. And they did, but you know what?
Nick is correct.
There are 5 games left in the season.
Mm-hmm.
There are 5 games left in the season. And even though they took the L in Seattle, they're still in the are they in the 6th spot, I think?
Then they're in the 7th spot.
7th spot.
They're tied with the Washington football team, but WFT has a tiebreaker over them right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which means Sunday is a must-win for San Francisco, and they get Cincinnati, and they should beat Cincinnati. Mm-hmm. Now, to my hometown. Do the Chicago Bears clean house? Yes.
Will the Chicago Bears clean house?
No.
No.
No. Now, speaking of Washington, can the Redskins sneak up and steal the division?
Yes.
Yes, they can.
Here's why I say they can. They still have to play the Cowboys twice. Of course, the first game is in Landover this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And if the Cowboys continue to forget they actually have a running game, and Cowboys fan and dumb sports analysts can give you the excuse of, well, Ezekiel Elliott is hurt. That means their running game is marginalized. Or you forget you got Tony Pollard behind there too,
who's also hurt.
I mean, but both are still playing. So okay, they're hurt, sure, but they're still trying to contribute. If they're out there and they're just basically going to be nothing more than just figurines that you stick on the field,
mm-hmm.
If the Cowboys have that mentality, yes, they will walk out of Landover with an L. And then there will be only one game behind the Washington football team, having to play them again. And then
in Dallas,
hoping, wishing, and praying that they don't continue to slide further down.
Because the slide is happening. Y'all may not see it, but it's happening. It's the second half. It's the second half of the season, and Dallas is going to go the way of Seattle and rely on Dak Prescott entirely too much.
So I mean, they have a favorable schedule because. All right, so after they visit DC, they go the next week and they visit the Meadowlands.
Mm-hmm.
So they play the Giants. Then they come home and they host the Washington football team. They end the season in Philly. All those games I mentioned are winnable because the Cowboys have the more talent than the other team.
Right.
They do. Just being unbiased.
Yeah.
The Cowboys are more talented than Giants, more talented than Washington, more talented than Philly. Now, their benchmark, though, is Week 17 when they host the Arizona Cardinals.
Air raid.
Yeah. Now, in my opinion, if the Cowboys have that mentality, they will lose that game too.
Mm-hmm.
And that is with both of us saying the Cardinals are stupid for not having a running game, the doggone selves.
Which is why I don't believe in the Cardinals nor the Rams. I don't believe in the Cardinals or the Rams. Moving on. And are we just saying, are the Cowboys for real? Nope. Moving on. I got an MVP
Cowboys
candidate.
Okay. MVP candidate? Who's that?
Jonathan Taylor.
Yes. I'm trying to think. How can I phrase this? Because I know if I'm not speaking to a Colts fan, I know a Colts fan is nearby. I love Taylor. I love what he does. In fact, now the Colts seem to understand that their bread is buttered with Jonathan Taylor,
and they have the week off.
And I think they needed to have that adjustment again, even though people say, well, Tampa has a great defensive front and it's hard to run against them. True.
Mm-hmm.
But if your identity is to run, which that is the Colts' identity,
it is.
You gotta, as I heard someone say when I was younger, dance what brung you.
Yeah.
So
use what got you to the dance. And
yeah,
for the Colts, that's the running game.
Yeah. So that means that Taylor only gets 90 yards on 30 carries. So what? Good.
Mm-hmm.
You're making progress, and he has what it takes to be the MVP. I just think they will overlook him.
They're overlooking him now
for two reasons. One, not so much. Yeah, I would say one, not so much that he's a running back and he's not a quarterback, but that's a lesser of the two.
Mm-hmm.
And the second, they're looking at this team being 6-6, and then yes, they're looking in lieu of that of other teams. You just mentioned one of them, such as the Bucks, such as the Packers. Because to me, unfortunately, the front runners are going to be, and I'm barfing in my mouth as I say it, Thomas Edward Brady and Aaron Rodgers. I don't like it either. I just ate too. I don't like it either.
Steven Askin says opposing defenses have to game plan for Taylor. Yeah, they do.
Thank you.
Yeah, they do. They got a game plan for Taylor, just like you got a game plan for Elijah Mitchell or Raheem Mostert. Yes. And yes, I'm being very biased because the 49ers and the Colts have a common denominator. They run the football. When they played each other in Levi Stadium in the muck, each team rushed for over 100 yards.
Yeah. Oh, and my bad. I slighted the Colts because I forgot about that shutout victory they had in Houston, 7-6. But
don't slight that, man. Wife and I had chili while watching that game.
That's why that's why I had to apologize because I'm like, man, I watched one quarter of that game. I'm like, good Lord, this
it's
is
over.
This is sad.
See,
I've seen an NFL team playing a Pop Warner squad. This is sad.
And Matt Taylor, the voice of the Colts, was on with us last week, and he said, it looked like it was going to be Houston, that Houston was going to be in the game because it was only 7-0 until late in the first half. When the Colts finally took advantage of an opportunity, stretched the lead to 14-0, and they were off to the races after that.
Yeah, they pounded the submission in the third quarter. Yeah. I like the direction of the team now. It took them a while to get going.
It did.
But now that they are going, I think they can go places. I think they can
make some noise. And remember, they went into Buffalo and pounded them into submission.
And good. I'm glad you said that. Because I think they're going to be scaring the Bills, the Bengals, and Chargers because they're breathing down all three of their teams' necks. And the Bills, if they go with a tiebreaker, you just mentioned it, they'll lose it to the Colts.
Yeah.
So, of course, they would have to hope that they would have the tiebreaker along with the Chargers and the Bengals to match. So they'll have a better shot and hope of making it in the playoffs.
Yep. Absolutely.
But Jonathan Taylor, I love how he runs. He is a no-nonsense guy who is behind a no-nonsense offensive line. And if they keep going the way they're going, they are going to break some teams' hearts.
And
they just are.
He is the bell cow now for the Colts. And I love it. It was Marlon Mack until he got injured, and then they discovered Jonathan Taylor out of Wisconsin. Man, I can't wait to see how far they go. Eric Wilson is scheduled to join us along with Mike Debate, and we got a special guest picker in Megan Price. More fun on that later.
Oh.
Yeah. I came up with that late last night. I'll explain later. Back after this. Fabulous Football Friday edition continues. Eric Wilson has indicated to me that he is good to go, so we're going to bring him in right now. Eric Wilson, the man in charge of Alex Fleming's NFL Carousel, hadn't been feeling good for a little bit, but he did say he is ready to go, so we're going to try to bring him in now as we continue our Friday edition of Snowman in the Morning. We talked all things NFC East a moment ago, which is where his fandom resides, and we're not able to get him on as of yet. So, oh yeah, we got him, I think.
Please leave.
Nope, we don't. We don't. Doggone it. We'll try to get him on here in. We'll try to get him on here in just a moment. Just got a note during the break. Deebo Samuel and Elijah Mitchell for the 49ers remain out, but they will be a game-time decision come Sunday in Cincinnati, and they got to get as much rest as they can. You know, for as many people, Cole, that want to trash the 49ers and saying they're no good, Jimmy needs to go, it's Trey Lance's time. First of all, it is not Trey Lance's time. Second of all, if there is a team that has been snake bitten by injuries 3 of the last 4 seasons, it's San Francisco. And I hate that. I hate that for any team, but I particularly hate it for the 49ers because there's so much talent on this ball club.
And I really believe that they have the right mentality too. You know, they have their identity. They know who they are, and not even they know who they are on one side of the ball versus not on the other.
Right.
They know who they are all the way around. You know, defensively, they want to get after the quarterback as often as they can with as few people as possible. Yep. Because they basically want to prove to you that their pass rush is so good they don't even need to blitz all that often, if at all.
And that pass rush is superior. It's also healthy.
Yeah.
It's also healthy. I wouldn't be surprised come draft time that they look to fortify that line and the secondary.
Right. I was going to say that's probably where if you're going to say there is an Achilles heel of sorts for that team, it would be the secondary. But it's done with a slight bit of a caveat.
Yeah.
They're talented in the secondary, but if you leave them on an island, often they can be had.
Yeah. We've seen it. We've seen it often the last couple of years.
And yeah.
Go ahead.
I don't want to say and offensively they are about running the football. In fact, they'll push the point that they'll run the football. They'll even utilize their tight ends and wide receivers as running backs.
Yeah.
To run the football.
Yeah, to run the football. That's what they love doing. I believe we have Eric right now. We're going to try to bring him in. Eric, can you hear me?
Brian.
Good morning. Good morning, sir. How are you?
If you start your conversation this week like you did last week, I'm hanging up the phone.
Well, give me a chance to introduce you because I was
okay.
going to say the man in charge of Alex Fleming's NFL Carousel and also the man who follows the Philadelphia Eagles, and they got a big game this weekend, now joins us. Eric Wilson from Sideline Sports, the man in charge of the sports arena as well, now joins us. Now I say good morning to you.
All right, good morning. And actually, Brian, we're off this week.
Oh, you're off this week?
Yeah.
Well, I'll start it off by mentioning this team. The Cowboys ain't making it past any place. They ain't going to the Super Bowl.
No.
All right, there you go, Eric.
No.
All right. Yeah, see, that's how you introduce somebody. See, I like that. See, thank you so much. That's beautiful right there.
You know, I don't like them. I don't. A mistake happened in my head. All right, I had the
couldn't
wrong
tell, 'cause
person.
last week,
Listen,
that's how you want to bring somebody in and start off asking
listen,
that kind of question. And I was like, man,
listen.
Brian, what I do to you?
I
Man? I thought we was friends, Brian. I was like, wow.
We didn't share a mic yet. That's what happened. No, I'm kidding.
Okay, beautiful. All right, fair enough. But yes, gentlemen, good morning. Good morning. Thank you for having me back on Snowman in the morning. I appreciate it.
But I will say we haven't had the opportunity to share a mic yet. I'll say that. And
it's coming.
I made a mistake last week. Okay, now how can the Eagles get back in this race? Because I want anyone but okay, Eric, this is where I make it up to you. I want anyone but the Cowboys to win that division. Please. If we can have a repeat of 2019 where the Eagles got in. Please.
Listen, from as I always say, Brian, from your lips to God's ears. I mean, we just need to win. That's all there is to it. There's no other question about it. I mean, we control ourselves. We can't be like the Giants and be hoping and wishing and praying that somebody save us.
Oh God, that's so ridiculous.
We need to do what we need to do. We have this week to get right.
Yes.
And then we go into divisional play right alongside those damn Cowboys. We have 2 games against Washington.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, right now we're 0-2 in the division. So we should be 1-1, but that's another story for another time. I'm not even gonna.
That's a conversation for another time.
But we're 0-2.
You just mentioned why I wanted to pimp up every Giants fan after the end of the regular season last year. Oh my gosh. I never heard so much whining from a fan base in my entire life.
Yes, you have. They're in Dallas.
Very true. But yeah,
I'll give you another.
That's not whining. They brag.
That's whining. Considering how they play, that's whining also.
Yeah, true, but still.
Remember, who do they lean on instead of who they should lean on?
Well, yeah, I feel you. But look, I've been hearing we going to the Super Bowl every year ever since I've been born.
Yeah,
Just a moment. You know what other fan base says that a lot lately? Pittsburgh.
Oh well, I mean, I work with a manager who basically says stairway to 7.
Stairway.
And I'm thinking,
stairway.
I'm like,
well,
what offense? Come on now,
right?
Come on.
All right, Eric, if there was an NFC team you would not want to see in the playoffs, who is that team and why?
No, that's easy. Arizona. I don't want to see the Cardinals. No way. I don't want to see the Cardinals any day of the week right now because Kyler Murray is back. DeAndre Hopkins is back. And, that team, 10-2, come on, you can't ignore what Kingsbury and Kyler Murray and that entire squad have done. Now, think about it like this. There were a lot of people when Kingsbury got the hiring job, head coaching job.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people were like, okay, we've seen this play out before. College coaches don't really do well in the NFL. Cliff Kingsbury is reminding people, sleep on me if you want to, but I'm going to let you know who I am and what this team is about. And in the time frame that he's been there, look at the elevation of the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah.
They've gotten better. And right now they sit atop the NFC. I don't want to see them. No disrespect to Green Bay, no disrespect to Tampa Bay, because I feel like both those teams have Hall of Fame quarterbacks, top-tier coaching.
Yeah.
They have the recipe for how to build, construct, and more importantly, win in the NFL. When you look at the Arizona Cardinals right now, Cliff Kingsbury is, I'm not going to put him in the level of a Bill Belichick or Andy Reid, but I'm telling you, if Arizona keeps this pace over the next several years under him, they're always going to be a proverbial NFC favorite. And if they can keep this momentum going, because we know it, winning is momentum. That's what it is.
True.
and he's building it in Arizona. So right now, Arizona is the one team in the NFC that I do not want to see. And I'm so thankful they got to play Dallas. Love it.
So how about in the AFC? Who's the one team in the AFC you don't want to see?
Indianapolis.
Thank you.
I don't want to see the Colts. I don't want to see the Colts. And I'll tell you why and exactly.
And I've said
words.
this for Jonathan Taylor.
That's it.
We talked a lot about Jonathan Taylor this morning and that Colts offense. They have a chance to heal because they're off this week. And I've said for the past 4 weeks, I don't want to see Indianapolis. Forget Kansas City. Forget San Diego. No, the one team I do not want to see in the AFC is Indianapolis. Even at 7-6, and Jonathan Taylor is the reason.
Doesn't matter. When, shameless plug for my show, The Sports Arena, every Monday and Wednesday night, 10 p.m. and all my social media facets. When we did our way too early bird season predictions, shout out to my brother Alex Fleming. He made this comment. He said, Indianapolis is going to win with or without Carson Wentz.
Yes.
And he based it off of this. The Indianapolis defense. He wasn't even talking about the offense.
Mm-hmm.
When's the last time someone talked about Indianapolis's defense?
It's been
in the last, let's just say 3-4 weeks.
Right.
Not never.
Exactly.
We're too focused on the offensive side of the ball. But see, now with the emergence of Jonathan Taylor, who I'm going to be upset because I feel as though he needs to be the MVP, but we all know it's a quarterback-driven league.
Did we not Cole? Did we not just talk about this?
Yeah, it's right before you got on, Eric. We actually said that. Yeah.
So it's but what do you need to win a championship? You need a defense and you need a run game.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what Indianapolis has?
Both in
those
spades.
Yep. Yep. And with or like you said, with or without Carson Wentz, this Colts team can scare everyone in the AFC.
Yep.
And something else I mentioned before the break, they went to Buffalo and pounded them into submission. They pounded the Buffalo Bills into submission.
I mean, Taylor almost ended up with 200 yards rushing by himself.
Yes.
Right. That's like Dalvin Cook did last night
and
against the Steelers.
Dalvin Cook got over 200 against the Steelers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Every time, Brian, every time I see Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson, it breaks my heart. You want to know why?
Kirk Cousins?
No, because Philly could have had both those guys.
Yeah.
I look at those. I'll never. Those draft classes, I remember, doing at the draft parties, and I'm saying to myself, if Dalvin Cook falls to us, and then number 14 comes around and he's the guy, and I'm like, what is wrong with you, Philly? Dalvin Cook was right there.
Yeah, he was.
And then Justin Jefferson fell to Philadelphia, and we go with Jalen Reagor. What? This is why I still am on the fire Howie Roseman.
Yeah.
Fire Howie Roseman. Please get rid of him because he doesn't know how to draft. But anyway,
that's an article I haven't seen in a minute.
I'm just saying.
Hey, feel the same way. Feel the same way because if y'all had both of those guys, oh boy, you want to talk about an upgrade? You want to talk about an upgrade? There you go.
A workhorse for a back and a number one wide receiver. Yeah,
you would just said.
But my heart
each and every time.
But my heart breaks with those two because of number 8 on that team.
Yes.
Don't get me started. I'm not allowed to speak his name. I've been kind of.
Why not?
I'll send you. I will send you the rant that I've done twice this season.
Twice
on him. Twice. The first one I did was on the whole entire team.
Mm-hmm.
And that was because it was week 1. And I just thought that Cincinnati wasn't who they potentially could be.
Right.
And I just kind of anticipated that when you have guys like a Dalvin Cook, like a Justin Jefferson, you should be able to beat up on I won't say inexperienced, but a younger Cincinnati team. And that was not the case.
No.
You should. But that's not how they roll.
They kept Cincinnati in the game. They kept them in the game.
And that was week 1. Anything happens week 1, but still I was annoyed. Well, then when you couldn't beat Dallas and Cooper Rush was your
quarterback. Couldn't beat at home. Couldn't beat them at home with their backup quarterback starting.
That's my point. It was gifted to you on a silver platter, and you could not handle your business? Yeah. From that point on, I let loose. I held nothing back. And so it's just the holiday spirit. I'm trying to be a better person going into 2022.
Eric.
My team is off this week.
Wait. Just a moment. He's trying to be a better person and be in the holiday spirit. Eric, don't you know I'm in front of this microphone for 120 minutes, 5 days a week? You don't have to be a better person.
No.
What's the tagline? What's the tagline of the show?
Oh, yeah.
The hottest of hot takes and the coldest the cold hard facts. Dude.
True. But he could be the good person. I'll take the mantle up for him.
Okay.
Do I trust Kirk Cousins in any way, shape, form, or fashion, no matter when the game is played?
Can I answer that question, please?
Okay.
Hell no.
And I will exclamation point by saying, "Oh no!" Never.
It is the holiday season. If you will allow me to join in, and I apologize, my vocals are a little bad, but I'm just going to say it. Hell to the no, to the no, no.
No. To the no. Hell to the no. Yes. To the no.
Preach.
Hell no.
To the no. Hell to the no.
Oh yes.
I should have that song introduce you every time I have you on. I should have that song in the background every Friday because Eric's gonna preach about something or somebody.
And you preached about Kirk Cousins right there because I 100% agree with you, bro.
Look,
100.
Kirk Cousins got rescued last night by Dalvin Cook. He actually learned how to use his teammates.
Yes.
Unlike Dak Prescott, but I won't go there. Wait, yes, I will. There's a common denominator with Dak Prescott, Russell Wilson, and Kirk Cousins. That common denominator is, before we go to break, they are relied on entirely too much.
You're right about that.
Yes.
Your words have never been spoken.
Mm-hmm.
Russell Wilson needs an offensive line. Dak Prescott just needs a better team altogether.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. And then there's Kirk Cousins.
Can't get out of his own way.
Oh, good Lord. You could not have broken all of that down any better than that.
And
yes.
the game where Kirk Cousins needed to get out of his own way but didn't, go back 2 years to the playoff game in San Francisco. You get a tying score to Stephon Diggs, and then you punt the rest of the game.
Yeah, I was going to say, do absolutely buck this the rest
nothing,
of the way.
They did nothing. They did absolutely nothing. See, I'm getting that song, and I'm bringing it in for Eric each and every Friday that he joins us. That's Eric Wilson joining us here on the program. And keep on preaching, man. I'll have you back every Friday. In fact, I'm getting an idea in my head. Thanks for joining me, my man. Please continue to get well.
Hey, Brian Cole, thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate y'all. I will talk to y'all next week.
Talk to you next week.
Brian.
They could not have played that any better. Oh, goodness gracious. All right, time now for our question of the day. This week we've hit food, we've hit video games.
Okay.
And it's a football Friday.
All right.
So, what was your first ever football video game that you played?
First ever football video game. Well, it was an Atari game that was just straight up football. Atari 2600 football. I mean, just straight up. And it was funny just thinking about it now. You know, just understanding how video games and the graphics have advanced to such a degree. So this had to be when we were both 9, when we were both 9.
Yep.
So you remember basically a square block head with a block body with two lines extending out from the side of the top of the block.
Yes.
And 2 lines pointing down to the ground from the bottom.
Oh my gosh.
And they barely could move, and of course you had to go from down to up to score.
Mm-hmm.
They barely can move in a forward motion. You had to move them by running sideways.
And even that became a hassle because the joysticks would get stuck.
Oh, yes, they do. And then they just stand there.
The joysticks would get stuck. You're trying to move side to side when you're supposed to be moving up and down, but you're moving side to side. It's like when a joystick gets stuck in an arcade.
Yeah.
You're trying to play especially when you're trying to play Galaga and the joystick and someone spilled a drink on the console.
Oh man.
And you wind up getting stuck in a corner and blown to smithereens.
Mm-hmm.
That was the Atari 2600 football game.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That was the Atari 2600 football game.
Yeah.
You had to do the opposite to reach your goal.
Mm-hmm.
And you're wondering, this is Walter Payton? How?
Right. This can't be no Walter Payton.
How the hell is this Walter Payton when he can't even move?
Yeah, this definitely ain't Eric Dickerson. I'm like,
this is not Eric Dickerson. This is not Roger Craig.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And you're wondering, who the hell drew this stuff?
Right. And for those who don't know what we're talking about, this is long before Tecmo, long before Madden.
I mean, this was 5 years before Tecmo, because Tecmo was 83. No, 84.
Mm-hmm.
84. I beg your pardon. 84. This Atari game was in 1979, but it didn't really hit until 1980.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And in some cases, 1981.
Mm-hmm.
But you expect that green-ass figure to be Walter Payton?
And they were
you expect this green-ass figure that's trying to throw a pitch instead of a block, or trying to do trying to throw a pitch with that leg kick instead of a block. What?
And then what made it even worse, the game made it look like your TV was absolutely on the fritz.
You thought the TV was going to blow up. You thought you had to fix the TV and the antennas.
Mm-hmm.
The same way you had to fix the TV to watch a game. And I'm talking about breaking out the aluminum foil. I'm talking about breaking out the extra antennas. And you know the antennas I'm talking about that you go to the store and buy and attach to the back of the television, and you try to extend it all the way into the kitchen.
Yep.
And it still doesn't work.
And still doesn't work. Mm-hmm.
And then they came out, with the, and I'm going off kilter here, and then they came out with the circular antennas, and that was worse. Because as soon as you get it in one spot, what happens? It slowly starts to fall. And by the time you get it in that spot, race to the couch and sit down, no picture.
Oh my gosh! I mean, that game turned me off of any video game that had football in it. I kid you not, my man. I did not play any video games that involved football until I graduated from high school.
I believe it. If anyone within the sound of our voices had that game on Atari 2600, you know what we're talking about. And you also know it turns you off of football, and it turns you off of the Atari 2600. The Atari 2600 was the bane of my existence for video games because they didn't look like what the hell they were supposed to look like.
No. I mean, it was so bad when they came up with the 5200, it clowned the 2600.
And that was the first video game I had. But I've seen friends that had the 2600. When I went to college, I had roommates that had the 2600, and we were stuck in a time warp.
Oh gosh, yes.
For the nights that we could get away from studying, we were stuck in a time warp. Okay? But the perfect example of a video game that pissed me off in playing the 2600 was Pac-Man. I seem to have struck a nerve.
Oh my gosh.
Because how can you move sideways and wind up going down?
I don't know.
You even had that little red button that didn't work.
Yeah, but say it did nothing.
You play a shooting game on the 2600, that red button is supposed to shoot. Nope, didn't work. Seriously, break out the 2600 and try to play Space Invaders. And see if you don't get blown to smithereens before you get off a shot.
See, you mentioned Pac-Man. Here's how messed up that was. So I played it on 2600. As soon as I saw that in the arcade, I never wanted to play Pac-Man again.
You got turned off of Pac-Man?
Yes. I was like, this gobbledygook.
Because of the same system.
I don't want to play this thing. I don't know what this is. Forget this. I'll play this in arcade. I ain't gonna play this at home. Forget it.
You can't play it at home. I had the 5200. It climbed the 2600. Don't get me wrong, but I'd rather have the arcade version.
Yeah. Yeah, the 5200 was better, but I still would rather play the arcade. But it wasn't so. But the 5200 wasn't so bad to where I was like, okay, I just want to forget that I'm playing whatever the game is because I saw something that was just leaps and bounds better. But the 2600, well, I could not say the same.
No, I couldn't play another game on the 2600 ever.
Oh, gosh. The only game that I wouldn't mind playing on it, even to this day, is Pong.
See, because Pong is simple.
Yes.
If you want to call it simple.
If you want to call it simple. Yeah.
If you want to call it simple, you move your stick down, and it's still and the ball still goes through. What? It's one of those kind of systems that you hate but you love at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Well, I do because it was my first ever gaming system. So yeah.
You love it because it's a gaming system and you can play at home, but you hate it because what you saw on the screen was not what you wanted.
Not even close. Not even close. Oh my god. But yeah.
You get the idea.
Yeah.
You get the idea.
Yeah. I kid you not, man. After I saw football on Atari 2600 and tried to play it on it, I was like, no, forget it. I got so frustrated with it. Seriously, I didn't play another video game that had football on it for 10 years.
I believe it. All right, we're into the second hour of Snowman in the Morning. Let's talk Panthers, and I welcome Mick Mixon, my good friend and the voice of the Panthers, to the program. Mick, how are you, buddy?
Things are good, Brian. Hope you're doing well. I'm talking to you from the stadium where practicing a little bit today. Friday's a little bit of a lighter day, but tomorrow there'll be another rehearsal as the Panthers get ready to take on the greatly despised Atlanta Falcons in a big game for both teams.
It is. Both teams 5-7 coming into this contest, and let's just get right to it. What's one of the biggest things that the Panthers have to correct if they need this game? But what's one of the first things they need to rely on, especially now minus McCaffrey?
Well, when you play football like the Panthers did at Miami, Matt Rule himself said that was bad football. Just about anything. You could throw a dart at your question and probably hit an area where the Panthers need to improve. But I think against Atlanta, I think this is going to be one of those old-fashioned trenches, bloody mud, just telecasted in black and white football games. I say that because Atlanta's a good running team. They've rediscovered something in the last 2 weeks against Jacksonville and Tampa Bay. They're running the ball with a lot of lead in their pencil. Davis, Gallman, Patterson, and they're a very good wide zone team, and that's a play that's given the Panthers a problem. So I think it sounds simple, and I'm not trying to oversimplify it, but stop the run is first for the Panthers on defense, and then establish the run with Carolina's offense.
Who would get the ball? Who would need to be the bell cow for Carolina to establish the run?
It would be a committee. The Panthers really like Amir Abdullah, low center of gravity, tough, good receiver, kind of a Christian McCaffrey light in a way. I think there's some intriguing players on the practice squad. We'll see if somebody gets promoted. And then Chuba Hubbard, seems like it's been a while since he's had that kind of gashing run where he just is blocked free into the second level, makes a man miss. We call his name in a good way. Hubbard has struggled with consistency at catching the ball, but I suspect he'll have a lot of opportunities to play well in this offense on Sunday.
Mick Mixon, the voice of the Panthers, joining me as we talk Panthers and Falcons this Sunday afternoon at Bank of America Stadium. After starting 3-0, it's been an up-and-down season for Carolina, and you and I have talked about it before. One thing that has hurt Carolina has been injuries.
Yeah, on both sides of the ball, too. It's just crazy. I mean, think about the team when the season started, and we sort of thought we knew who the punter was going to be, Joe Charlton. We thought we knew who the kicker was going to be, Joey Sly. That's been a revolving door on special teams. We've had a musical chairs array of moves at O-line. That'll continue this week with Christensen moving to right guard, and Staley out to right tackle. Moten will play, of course, where he normally, or may play where he normally does. Daly may be the other guard. Moten may be at right tackle again. That's his favorite spot, his best spot. And I actually think that's how it'll play out, because now that I think of it, Cam Irving was back at left tackle on Wednesday when I was out at practice. But anyway, to your point, the O-line has been shaky. Now we got CMC out again, Dante Jackson out again. It's just, I mean, every team could say it. It's not an excuse, but it has been an exceptional year in that way. I think you pretty much got to hang loose when you're doing your depth chart every week for this team.
Yeah, and especially lately, the last few weeks, the injuries have really piled up, and then you find out you lose McCaffrey for the remainder of this season. Why has it been such bad luck for McCaffrey?
If you know the answer to that, if you figure that out, then I want you to call your broker and just buy a bunch of stock, because you'll be hot. You'll be having a good day. I don't know the answer to it. Could be that he overtrains. It could be that he's just tightly wound. It could be bad luck. It could be that the football gods don't like him for some reason, or are trying to teach him some kind of a lesson. I have no idea, and I really don't think it's any of those things I just mentioned, except possibly just the randomness of the universe. And Christian's had some bad luck as he's tried to get back into being a regular back.
Yeah, and the last couple of years he has not been able to play a complete season. Let's hope he heals and gets well and comes back ready for next year. Who needs to be the wide receiver one for Carolina?
DJ Moore's had a monster year. He needs just under 150 yards receiving to eclipse 1,000. He'll get that this year, it looks like, but it'd be great if he got it on Sunday. I think Robbie Anderson, Robbie's been catching the ball more cleanly lately. I think it'd be great to see Robbie Anderson get back to the form he showed last year.
Mick Mixon joining me as we preview the Falcons and the Panthers this Sunday at Bank of America Stadium. Big game for the Carolina Panthers. Our Panthers preview brought to you by the Kingsman Builders Group. Always a pleasure to have you on, Mick. I've missed you the last few weeks.
Yeah, my fault, man. It's been a crazy schedule. I've had different banquets and luncheons and stuff, so I'm sorry my schedule's not been more accommodating for your show.
Oh, I appreciate you coming on anytime that you're on. Thanks a lot, Mick.
Appreciate you, Brian. See you later.
Well, one thing he mentioned, that Carolina offense needs a lift, Cole, and they need it very, very badly.
And they thought they were going to get it from Cam Newton.
Mm-hmm.
And they also thought he was going to get it from returning Christian McCaffrey. But one player is injured. The other basically is showing that he has not advanced any further than he did before he left the Panthers.
Mm-hmm. And
so now basically they're stuck where they were before Sam Darnold went down.
And you can hear the despair in Mick's voice. He's been their voice for 17 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
You can hear the despair in his voice, and I would hate to be a fly on the wall when they found out that McCaffrey's gone for the year.
Yeah, and that game that they played in the desert, that was supposed to be the jumping off point for them to not necessarily win the division, but
get back in the chase.
Yeah. The division race is pretty much the Bucs, but just to get in the playoff chase, they thought this was going to be their jump off point, and of course they had the victory over a team that is a contender for the conference championship.
Correct.
And so they feel emboldened, and McCaffrey had a really good game,
and they pounded him.
And they pounded him, and then the wheels just fall completely off.
And
when they go to Miami,
and I hate seeing that. I absolutely hate seeing that for a team that started 3-0, and then fell off, losing four in a row, losing an agonizing game against Minnesota in overtime, and then the game in Miami happened. Oh goodness.
That was basically when, I hate to say it, that has to be the game where the Panthers would look back in 2021 and say, when we thought we were about on our way back, although we took it on the chin the week before at home to WFT,
and both of those games, the Redskins and the Dolphins, those are ones they needed to have. They needed to have those.
They needed to have those games, right? So they don't come up with the win at home against WFT. There's a game to go to. They go to South Beach, and they get completely blown out of the stadium.
They get blown out of the water.
And along with it, you not only do you get blown out of the water, you get the announcement that McCaffrey's gone for the year, And
which adds injury to insult.
Right, and then Cam comes up with his worst performance as an NFL quarterback.
5 for 21. 5 for 21. I kept looking at the numbers, and those of you who know, I've covered the Panthers the last couple of years, and I still cover them even though I'm here in Indiana. 5 for 21.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that, and I was looking at it.
Yeah.
I was looking at it. I caught Mick's call on Sirius XM. I couldn't believe it.
I couldn't either. Now, I don't want to say the season's over for them, but when
they're teetering on the brink.
Not only are they teetering on the brink, but when you still have to go to the Western New York to play the Bills, and
the Bills are mad.
Yes, the Bills.
The Bills are mad.
The Bills are mad. They're steaming. They're seething. And by the way, you still have to play the Buccaneers twice.
Twice. You got to play them in Carolina, and you got to go to Florida.
And they ended in Florida. Yeah, and they end the season in Florida.
And this is the end of the season. This is where Tampa Bay picks it up, as we saw last year.
Right. Yeah, and I think they're going to do the same thing this year. Yeah, unfortunately, you have to look at this as a lost season for the Panthers, and it sucks to say that, but
it does. It does suck to say that, but this is where they are, and you've heard me on the phone with Mick many a time over. They need to fix the offensive line.
They need to have
both lines, both offense and defense. They need to fix both lines.
Yes.
They need to fix. I mean, the first 3 games, the defensive line was off the hook, but the offensive line was trouble. Even when they started 3-0, even when they went to Houston and beat Houston, that line. The offensive line, and I can speak about this personally because we've raved about Indianapolis's offensive line. San Francisco's line has gotten better. Last year, 49ers were a sieve on the offensive front.
Yeah,
they were a sieve due to injuries. When you lose a guy like Trent Williams,
that's a huge loss.
When you lose a guy like Trent Williams, not only is your strength gone, but your attitude. Same with Nick Bosa when he was lost for the year.
The same thing, yes. The strength and attitude was gone for the defensive front too.
Strength and attitude was gone, and it's all on Moton for Carolina. But and you heard Mick say just a moment ago, they've had to shuffle a lot. This is where you dig. This is where you dig and look at your line play, and you look at the parts that you need.
Yeah, and to your point, I mean, this year. The line has given up 31 sacks.
Yes.
You as a line, and I say this because of experience, as a line, if you go through a year of playing, and it doesn't matter what level, but you go through a year playing, if you could say that you only had your quarterback sacked once a game, it's good, although you still say you can improve. When you can actually say your quarterback has been to the turf at least twice a game, which that's where they're headed already.
Yeah,
that is not a good feeling at all.
Even with Cam,
they right now are about to average at least 2 sacks a game for the year,
and it may be more this weekend. And it may be more this weekend if they don't solve the problem and get a running game.
And it may teeter toward 3. And that's not really what you want in terms of when you look at a line and say, we're heading in the right direction. No.
It's not the direction you want to head in or down toward the end of the season. And it is so unfortunate. It's unfortunate to see it unravel the way that it has unraveled for Carolina. We have got to take a break, so we're going to take one right now. But may go back to the video game fun before we bring in Mike Debate and our special guest picker. Yeah, we got a special guest picker. Back after this.
Yes.
Mister, how do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Got 2 extra pickers on the way, including a special guest picker. You will meet her in about 10 minutes from now. Can we flex the Bears-Packers game out of Sunday Night Football?
Please. But I know they won't. Aaron Rodgers is playing. I know they won't.
Why can't we fans or true analysts like you and I get the power to flex the games?
Because she wouldn't mind that game actually being the Rams and the Cardinals. I would not mind it being that one. But it's Aaron Rodgers. He's one of the MVP candidates.
And the Rams and Cardinals are on Monday night.
Yeah, they're on Monday night.
You know what? I'd make the Sunday night game? The Bengals and the 49ers.
That would be cool.
I'd make the Bengals 49ers game.
Spots. Both teams are fighting for playoff spots, so yeah.
I'd make the Bengals 49ers game, the Sunday night game, kick the Packers and Bears to 1 o'clock, and I'd move the Raiders and the Chiefs to 4:25.
Well, they're playing in Arrowhead. That's right. Okay.
Mm-hmm. You know you can't hear a damn thing in Arrowhead Stadium.
Yeah. But the games but seriously, the games that would be considered to be put in that slot in its stead. Unfortunately, one of them would be the Cowboys and the Washington Football Team, because you know why.
I wouldn't mind the Cowboys and the Redskins playing at 4:25. Why?
I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it that time. But I'm talking about they'd move it over to Sunday night. But
Sunday night.
But they won't, because Fox is promoting it to the hill. So
shoot, Taylor Heineke can pull an upset on Sunday night. Mm-hmm. How about that?
That would be great. That one, it would have been that one, or it would be the Bills and the Tampa Bay Bucks. That probably would be the game that would be flexed to Sunday night.
Yes.
Because that'd be an easy switch. That'd be easy flop for them.
Hey, Roger Goodell, you listening? Flex the Bills and the Buccaneers to Sunday night.
Yeah.
And kick the Bears and the Packers to 1 o'clock. They play at 1 o'clock. They usually play at 1 o'clock anyway, or noon. Since I'm originally from the Central Time Zone.
Yeah, but since I am still in the Central Time Zone. Yeah, it's noon here. Yeah. But yeah.
You know what else I'd change? I wish I could.
Bears Packers
Sunday night. It's 50. It's gonna be 55-10. Again.
Yes, that's the problem. Again. Because Rodgers does literally own the Bears. Owns the Bears.
And Justin Fields is going to get pulverized. I hate to say this about the young fella, but the Bears did him wrong. Now he's coming back from an injury he shouldn't have had because he shouldn't have played.
Can I quickly say something to your fellow Chicagoans?
Please do.
Look, I love you guys. I do. I get that you have felt the energy of wanting to have a new start, and you wanted to have Justin Fields be on the field because it's his rookie season. He's on the team. Might as well be good. But both your fellow Chicagoan Brian and myself said to you, the offensive line is trash. Let the guy who was on the team that's starting quarterback at the time be the recipient of the trash offensive line, and let Justin Fields be the recipient of a better one.
But no.
You didn't want to hear that. You wanted to be on the field as soon as possible. He gets his turn in week 3.
He gets blasted.
And he proves exactly what I thought he was going to show you. He shows you flashes of brilliance. He showed you some mistakes he's made, and he most certainly showed you that the reason why the team is not successful is not solely because of him, and it's not ultimately because of him either. You put him in a bad situation with an offensive line that sucks. You knew it sucked when Mitchell Trubisky was quarterback. What makes you think it changed and was better putting Fields in that same offensive line?
Mitchell Trubisky could have been a good Bears quarterback if they fixed the damn line.
Yeah. But that line messed his career up.
To the fact where he's now a backup.
And my point to them was that line's already messed up one quarterback's career. Don't have that line mess up another. And if you're going to have somebody play under that line, have somebody who was on the tail end of his career, who wouldn't mind starting, who could groom the guy to come, who can take those licks. Andy Dalton was a good choice.
You know, and I get the same argument with the 49ers, the growing fake 49er fan populace. And I say fake because they think they know what's good for the team. And I hate to tell y'all this, it ain't Trey Lance. Trust me. Is he good for the future? Yes.
Yes.
But you have an established quarterback now in Jimmy Garoppolo. I've been barking about this all season, except for one game where he was injured and another where Lance mopped up. Who's taking most of the snaps? Or all of them, except for that period of time. That will be Jimmy Garoppolo. Win or lose, he's there. He's been healthy. Matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to try to keep this short because I'm going to try.
Uh-oh. I'm hearing the knuckles crack. Okay.
To hell would be a nice. Here we go. Email woke football fan. CC woke 49er fans. Subject of email. Shut up, will you?
Oh, it's one of those. Oh, okay.
Hear me and hear me well. And I got to do this in 180 seconds. Trey Lance is not ready. Jimmy Garoppolo has been ready. Jimmy Garoppolo is who they brought in and paid a 5-year deal to and gave him $73 million up front to be the quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers. And Jimmy Garoppolo has been virtually healthy all season except for one game when he had a bad foot and another game where Trey Lance mopped up because the 49ers were so far ahead. Yeah, you can mix in the packages that they had for Trey Lance against Indianapolis, against Green Bay. Flashes in the pan. And I believe Kyle Shanahan did that under straight-up, unadulterated peer pressure. Now he is not listening to the noise. Now he is trusting Garoppolo, which to a point he should have done all season, save the game when he was injured, but now he's trusting them. The only thing that has bitten the 49ers in 3 of the past 4 years is the same thing that bit the Chicago Bulls in the Tom Thibodeau era. Injuries. That's it. That's all. When you lose a running back the quality of Raheem Mostert, yeah, you got to improvise. That's where Elijah Mitchell comes in. He's a game-time decision. Deebo Samuel's a game-time decision. And when they got Deebo Samuel more involved in the offense, you saw what happened. It started to pick up. Kyle Shanahan has his quarterback. But unlike Matt Ryan, he doesn't have to lean on him to throw him 50 times a game. Only time he had to did that was at home against Arizona, and because Arizona pounded us into the dirt and got us so far behind and so far off our game that we had no choice. That I can handle. That I can deal with. That is what y'all should look at. But since you don't, I leave you with this. Shut up and watch the game, will you? And try to actually think like a football person. but you won't because you're so woke and you want to see a black quarterback starting who isn't ready. Oh, did I say that aloud?
Oh, Lord. Yeah.
You want to see Justin Fields. You want to see Trey Lance. They're not ready. And I don't mean that because I don't say that because they're black quarterbacks. I'm saying that because they are not properly trained.
They're young.
They don't know all of the offense yet. And as a matter of fact, they only run. You don't know what their arm strength is under pressure. Yeah, we got a small sample size of it, but that's it. Under pressure is where you're going to find out what these quarterbacks can do. We find out what Patrick Mahomes can do. Later on, when the lines are repaired, we'll see what those two can do if they're still with their original teams. Because I still say Jimmy G's going to ball out this and next year. They're going to march his ass into the offense and give him an extension. Take that. Sincerely, Brian Snow, Snowman Digital Media, and Brian Snow Media, in proud association with Cole Sports with a Z.com. Send.
Great job. Great job. Told the truth. I love that.
People don't want to bleep and listen. You know that as well as I do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
People just don't want to listen.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take a quick pause here because I got some people to contact.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're going to have a lot of fun as we make our picks for this weekend. Back in a minute.
Hi, this is Michael. Please leave a message and I'll return your call.
This Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck. You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Have you ever been given a challenge and you're wondering, how the hell am I going to do this? Well, I have said challenge. And I don't know how I'm going to do this one. I am going to see, I had people ask me, what's one thing that I do a lot of? I improvise. I improvise a lot. This is going to be one of those times. This is going to be one of those times where I truly, truly have to improvise. So, let me introduce our guest picker. She is the queen of hoop, and today she's the queen of football. Megan Price, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. Are you ready to pick some games with us?
Absolutely.
All right. Let's do some picks. If Mike joins us, we'll try to get Mike on as soon as we can. In fact, he's trying to ring in now. So let's wait till we get Mike on. So okay. Megan, you're a Cowboy fan.
Indeed.
Don't know why, but you're a Cowboy fan.
I was born into it.
You were born into it.
I come from a long line of Cowboys fans, and we're basically not allowed to be anybody else's fan.
Spoken.
So you were.
Oh.
I say this. I say this kiddingly. So you were brought in by force.
Absolutely. My dad had a man cave, and everything was Cowboys.
Everything was Cowboys.
Everything. Like, there was a giant fat head on the wall. The floors were blue and gray. He had stained glass bar lamps. Everything had Cowboys in it.
So why did your father have to punish you like
you were born. So you were born into this, and you were punished. Oh my Lord, you were punished into this. Oh gracious. I was almost punished to be a Bears fan because I'm from Chicago. Mm-hmm. And my mother, God rest her soul, would ask me, even before I lost her in September, how can you be from Chicago and be a 49ers fan? I said, his name's Joe Montana. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. But see, if there is a Cowboy I do like from the 90s, it will be Daryl Moose Johnston. Loved him.
Indeed.
Loved him.
And I loved Newt from that era.
Mm-hmm.
I actually met Newt.
Yeah.
Good personality.
Definitely.
Very much so. Very much so. All right. We're trying to get Mike in. Don't think we're going to make it, so let's get to the picks. We're going to start with the Falcons and the Panthers. Panthers favored by 2.5. And it's a 1 p.m. kickoff on Fox. We heard Mick Mixon earlier. I don't know who to pick in this game. Both teams are 5-7. I'm just going to go with the Panthers because they're the home team, and I'm going to take the points. I got the feeling this is going to be a close game. Megan, we go to you first.
I'm also going to take Carolina, but I'm not going to take the points. I do think Carolina will actually win by more than that.
All right. Cole, you're next.
Oh, my goodness. Let me see. So we have a trash quarterback in Matt Ryan. We have a trash quarterback in Cam Newton. Okay. So I'll go with the one who is supposed to be a future Hall of Famer of the bunch. All joking aside, I probably have to go Carolina, but it's going to be a close game.
Yeah.
But it's going to be an ugly one, too.
It is. It's going to be blood, guts, and mud ugly. Ravens and Browns, 1 p.m. on CBS. Browns laying 2.5 at home. Who cares? I'm going with Baltimore, and I'm taking all those points. Cole, you're first.
All right, so Baker Mayfield starting. Okay, well, that pretty much seals it for me. You already know the formula here.
Mm-hmm.
If the Browns do not decide to run the ball with Chubb and with Hunt, the team is sunk. And I mean defensively as well, they're sunk.
Yeah.
Because then Mayfield is forced to make mistakes because he will do it because he wants to force the ball far too many times. And I think this team is tailor-made for a team like the Ravens, who needs to lick their wounds a bit and just play within them and get off the schneid, so to speak, and they complete the sweep of the Browns.
To our guest picker and Megan Price.
I agree. I'm also taking Baltimore in this. One fact that I want to point out is that Cleveland has been incredibly injured this year. Baker's been playing through injuries, and their running back positions were depleted. But so was Baltimore, and they found a way to push through that. I believe Baltimore is the better team. But at one point, Cleveland was 37%. Their roster was injured. So, tough year for them. I don't think this is indicative to the team that they really are. But we never thought that Baker was the greatest quarterback in the world. So, it was never that thought. He was just the facilitator to the run game. And their run game, they live and die by the run game. And obviously this year it showed that.
Yeah. So we're all in agreement, all going with the Ravens. Raiders and Chiefs. Chiefs laying 9.5 at home. Good. You may as well double it. It's a CBS 1 o'clock game. Going with the Chiefs. Megan?
Same. I don't think that Vegas has anything for Kansas City. Kansas City has heated up, and I don't know if any team really has a lot for the Chiefs right now, other than maybe Green Bay.
Yeah. Cole?
Yes, I choose the Raiders.
What?
To which they did not take the flight to Kansas City. Look, the Chiefs destroyed them in their own home.
Yep.
In Allegiant Stadium. I think it's going to be more the same. It's going to be more the same. The Chiefs are going to make this ugly.
Mm-hmm. They're going to make this ugly quick.
They're going to make this ugly. So it's the Chiefs, easily.
Yeah, going with the Chiefs, and I'm laying the points. Here we go. Cowboys and Redskins. I already know which way Megan is going. I'm going to pick this one first, and I'm calling for the upset. I'm going with the Redskins because it's in Landover, Maryland. Cowboys laying 4.5 on the road. It's a 1 p.m. kickoff on Fox. They needed to flex it, but they didn't. I'm going with our guest picker first. Megan?
Obviously going with Dallas, but I do think it's going to be a very close game. I think that Tyler Heineke is learning and getting better every single week. And their defense, the Washington defense has still found a way. Their pass defense is not very good, but their rush defense is decent. And that O-line is serious. So they're only allowing like 1 sack a game. So, I think it's going to be close, like 20-18.
Yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that. Cole, what you got for me?
Well, okay, on paper, yes, the Cowboys should simply mollywop WFT. They should simply steamroll over them. I mean, they have the better talent almost on every level, almost in every position. The problem I have with the Cowboys is they forget they have a running game, and because of that, they have this incessant need to push Dak Prescott to be the white knight in shining armor, especially in games like this.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to falter, and I think they're going to actually give this game away. So I actually pick, in the upset, I pick WFT.
That's a 1 p.m. kickoff on Fox. Now we go to the late games. Bills and Buccaneers from Tampa. The world champs laying 3.5 at home. I normally don't do this, but the Buccaneers are peaking at the right time. Give me the Buccaneers, and I'm going to lay all the points. Cole?
I think the Bills were really, really, really embarrassed on Monday, and I really believe they're going to come in with a bigger and better effort than they did, because I really believe they took the Patriots for granted a little bit.
Yeah.
I think they will. I think they will not take the Bucs for granted. Unfortunately, I agree with you, partner. The Bucs, it's just too much with them, and when they are focused and they're starting to round into focused form, they're difficult to beat no matter who you're against. So I take the Bucs at home.
Megan, what you got, my dear?
I'm also taking Tampa Bay at home. I think Buffalo was exposed Monday night.
Yes.
McDermott was shook. Even in his presser afterwards, and I just really feel like they were exposed and they were shown that they don't know how to run the ball at all.
Very good point.
Absolutely true. Absolutely true. And Cole, to a point that you said, if they call on Josh Allen's number entirely too much, Tampa Bay is going to be licking their chops. 49ers and Bengals, 4:25 on CBS. This game was flex. 49ers laying 1.5 on the road. They're minus Samuel and Elijah Mitchell are a game-time decision. Same with Fred Warner. No update on him yet. Bengals 7-5. 49ers 6-6. I'm going with the 49ers, and I'm taking that 1.5. This is a must-win game for San Francisco. As depleted as they are, I believe they're going to go to Cincinnati and get this win. Megan?
I am also taking the Niners, but I think it's going to be a really close game, and I think it's going to be an excellent game. I think it's going to be our overtime game of the week, but I believe that the Niners will come out victorious. But since he's been decent this year,
Yeah, Cincinnati has. Cole, round it up.
Okay, what Cincinnati Bengals team is going to show up? Is it going to
right?
be
Yeah.
Is it going to be the one that routed the Ravens, or is it going to be the one that laid an egg at home this past week against the Chargers?
Yeah.
That's the difficulty I have in picking this game. The 49ers know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
The Bengals have an issue of knowing who they are. And with that line, they're basically saying to me that they wanted people to throw money more onto the Bengals.
Yes.
Because they don't have the full faith of making them a true favorite, which to me that means if it was -4 or above, then they would basically say, well, the Bengals are the favorites.
Mm-hmm.
In this one, I have to go with I have to be with the two of you. I have to go with the 49ers. They can run the ball down the Bengals' throats, and I don't think they have the ability to stop that.
Yeah, I don't think they'll stop the run either. 49ers need to be who they are.
Yeah, and then of course you have that porous offensive line for the Bengals, who allowed 6 sacks to the Chargers. More the same might be for the 49ers.
Nick Bosa and the bunch are licking their chops in Cincinnati. Now we got this one.
I said this when they drafted Jamar Chase, that they should have done something different.
Yes. I agree with that. I said that on my draft show. Now you got this. It's going to be a massacre in Lambeau Field. Packers laying 12.5 at home. You may as well double it. Give me Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, and I'm laying all 12.5 points. Megan?
Same. I know that Nagy said that Justin Fields is going to start, but they don't have anything good going for him. I don't even know if Nagy's going to have a job after this week.
I don't know. I don't know either. That's a
They might let him finish off the year at this point, but just to save some money. But I mean, he's done.
He's done. Cole, do you make it unanimous?
Yes, and NBC should be ashamed of themselves. They already knew when they looked at this schedule. When they looked at this schedule and they marked this game to be on television, they already know that Aaron Rodgers owns the Bears. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter if they play at Lambeau. It doesn't matter if they play in Soldier Field. You already know the outcome is going to be the same.
Yes.
But I know they probably thought, okay, they're probably going to have their rookie quarterback at Justin Fields, and the defense of the Bears is markedly better, and this probably will be a competitive game. But they should be ashamed of themselves. They should have known that the Packers would rout the Bears, and they're going to rout the Bears again. It's
going to be 55-10. If the Packers don't put up 50 points, I would be surprised. If the Bears put up a fight, I'll really be surprised. Let's round it up. Rams and Cardinals. Cardinals laying 3.5 at home. That's an 8:15 kickoff on ESPN. This one's tough to call because neither of these teams have a consistent running game. That's why I can't trust either of them in the playoffs, and I won't trust either of them in the playoffs. Who's going to make less mistakes? My answer is the Cardinals. I'll take the Cardinals, and I'll lay the points. Cole?
Dang, you climbed to my head because that's exactly what I would think. Both teams lack a running game, unless you want to call Kyler Murray a running game for the Cardinals.
Which is what they're doing.
Yeah. The Rams can't stop anything on defense right now.
Nope.
The Cardinals at least can stop the pass, and
at the very least.
And the last time these two teams met up, the Cardinals gave the blueprint on how to beat the Rams by basically bullying them.
Yeah.
I see them doing it again Monday night. Easily it's the Cardinals.
And Megan, finish it off.
I'm actually going for the upset here. I got the Rams, but I think it's dependent on Cooper Kupp. He's questionable at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
As long as he comes in and he's healthy, and it's a toe injury, so I think he'll be fine. I think we'll see him there, and I just don't see the Rams taking 2 losses from the Cardinals.
We'll see, and I'll say it again. Neither one of these teams have a dependable running game. It's December. Wait till January when they both get exposed. Megan Price is our guest picker, and fabulous job, my dear. Thanks for hopping on. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Well, I did it. I had a guest picker today.
Yeah.
How about that? Those are our picks for Week 14. Sorry we couldn't get Mike on. We had some technical difficulties. Sorry about that. We got about 4 or 5 minutes left in the program. And since we've been talking football all day, I don't want to see another Atari 2600 football game. Ever.
Well, see, you're living my life, because when I was 9, that's exactly what I said.
I know. I never want to see it again. Ever.
That is exactly what I said. And now, almost 40 years later, I'm saying the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I still never want to see it ever again.
I mean...
Oh, my gosh. That game was putrid, man. Woo.
Just like the Bears and Packers are going to be this weekend.
I'd rather see that than the Atari 2600 football.
I'm only going to watch one quarter of that.
Game.
I'm only going to watch one quarter of that. I'm going to put the other 3 quarters on Sirius XM with Wayne Larrabee on the call. That's it.
And I'm praying. And I'm praying the liar, Aaron Rodgers, actually says, "We still own you in the game." I want him to say that to the Bears
with the discount double check move.
Yes. And no, I'm not saying this because I hate the Bears. I have no horse in the race. I really don't care which team wins.
Right.
It's just that I'm sick. I think I'm getting a peak.
What did you say during the picks? NBC should be ashamed of themselves.
They should be, because
for taking that game.
Yeah, they should be. They scheduled this in the spring. They already knew then that this was going to be a Packers event.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, come on, really?
They could have written a letter and said, "Roger, can you flex this one, please?"
But yeah, now I got a glimpse into basically the 8, the 9, the 10-year-old Brian Snow as to why when you were looking at the Bears then, when they were somewhat on the ascension to being great, because they did not show any reflection of the 85 team until 84.
Mm-hmm.
And meanwhile, you saw this wonderful scarlet and gold team that just wowed everybody.
Yep.
Even if you were not a 49ers fan. I get why you didn't want to be a Bears fan, because it's frustrating to be him. It's frustrating to be a Bears fan. It's like when you look at the front office and the moves they make, and I've never rooted for nor against the Bears unless.
But you can see it from a distance. But you can see it from a distance.
I wouldn't want to be associated with the Bears as a fan or even in the organization, because they run the organization horribly. It's like after George Halas died, it was like, forget how the team is run.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what in the world?
And forget how the team is constructed.
Yeah.
And forget how the team is constructed. You know what? Earlier, I brought up the screenshots I sent to you.
Mm-hmm.
I got a response.
Oh, goody.
2 of them, actually.
Oh, you got 2 responses. Okay.
From the same idiot.
Not the same idiot.
Let's go back upstairs. How many players have you seen average 27, 6, and 7 in their 18th season? And you answered that very, very well. I said a few, actually, and Bron's stats are bloated anyway. Steph has done more in 13 seasons than Bron has done in 18. Here's response number 1. This idiot writes, and I quote, "What that got to do with the stats?"
What that? Oh, Lord. What that got to do? Yeah.
And
yeah, brother. Answer that question. Not you. That fool should answer the question. What does that got to do with the stats? Lord. Good Lord. I'm sorry. What's the second one?
I'm going to hand you a slam dunk for next Wednesday.
The fool can't write. Okay.
Matter of fact, I'm going to take a shot of this right now, and I'm going to make sure I get this to you right after we get off the air.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I'm going to send this now, because before I read this aloud,
okay,
I'm going to lay you a warning.
No.
This is an idiot who does not know how to spell, write, or speak. I'm handing you a slam dunk for Wednesday. and I will quote also, but also paraphrase.
Okay.
And no, you ain't seen no effing players average that in their 19th seasons. I can look at y'all profile pic. It tells it all.
I can look at this paragraph and it tells it all.
That it does.
Good Lord, did you even graduate beyond the first grade? I'm sorry.
Did you graduate beyond kindergarten?
Goodness gracious, man, the grammar.
These are some grown-ass men.
Okay, let me stop, because I could cut bronze-sexual confessions right now. Goodness gracious.
You know what? Since it's overtime, no. Save it.
No.
Save it.
No.
Save it.
No.
Because if we do, there'll be a third hour.
Yes.
And I'm hungry.
Yes. No. Yeah. Save it.
I sent you this. I sent you the shot. I sent you the shot.
Yes, thank you. I got the gift.
You got the gift?
Yeah, I got the gift. And Wednesday the dude's
and
going
I
to be
will say
yes.
And I will say on Wednesday, for those of you that love tuning in, Bronze Sexual Confessions will open the show.
Oh, it's going to be like that. Okay.
Bronze Sexual Confession. And I get you the full 2 hours on Wednesday, don't I?
Yes, sir.
Good. We may have not one, but two of them. One leading off each hour. You get one, I get one. Because something's going to happen over the course of the weekend where it's going to write itself.
Yes.
It's going to write itself.
Mm-hmm.
You saw that paragraph, right?
Yes.
You got the gift, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I would say on air, no, I'm not gonna. I'll say it off the air because if I say it on the air, we're still gonna be here. And right now,
I'm trying not to say anything else.
I'm being like Eric now. I'm being like Eric now. I'm trying to be good. I'm trying to stay in the holiday spirit. But trying is the operative word.
Mm-hmm.
What are you looking forward to this weekend? This is what we usually close with. I'm looking forward to some more comedy.
Well, yeah. I was about to say I'm looking forward to Bronze Sexual Confession on Wednesday for sure. And the stuff that I'm gonna come up with to frame this with it. But after that.
Oh no.
What?
Oh no. I won't even read it. I'll just send it.
Okay. Along with that,
he said he said a bad thing.
Well, he actually said a bad thing with that last paragraph you sent.
He actually name called me.
Oh, that's nice of him.
I want you to read what I'm going to send you right now, and I know you're going to get a laugh out of it.
Oh, you want me to read it now? Okay.
I want you to read it silently right now, and I know you're going to get a kick out of it.
Okay. Read it silently. All right.
Uh-huh. like they used to do back in the day.
Wow.
I love dealing with people that do not have a command of the English language, and then they look at me and they think all sorts of things.
Mm-hmm.
We will save all of that for Wednesday.
Comedy.
It is comedy. Yeah. George Carlin couldn't write this stuff.
No. And he was well adept at writing a lot of good comedic stuff.
He was well adept with the English language, which led to his comedy.